This is John Paul Rai. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan, and today I want to cover this tweet by Laura B. It's a very good piece of news because the ACLU has to cooperate with the court, and it looks like the court is not buying their story, to put it nicely. So she says, update, Johnny Depp vs. ACLU, remotion to compel, big win, judge has ruled granted in part, denied in part, ordered ACLU must comply with all subpoenas except to provide documents pertaining to AH role as ambassador. So, let's see what we got here. Upon the foregoing documents, it is hereby ordered that the petition is granted in part and denied in part. Petitioner John Depp II commenced this special proceeding to enforce a series of out-of-state subpoenas issued by petitioner's New York counsel pursuant to CPLR 3119 to respondents, the American Civil Liberties Union Foundation, and its employees Benjamin Wisner and Anthony Romero. Petitioner asserts that compliance with the subpoenas is material and necessary to the prosecution of a defamation action currently pending in the Circuit Court of Fairfax County in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Petitioner commenced the Virginia action on March 1st, 2019 for defamation based on statements his ex-wife Amber Laura Heard made in an opinion piece published in the Washington Post on December 18th, 2018, which implied that petitioner had committed domestic abuse against Ms. Heard during their marriage. It is undisputed that the ACLU suggests Ms. Heard write and assisted her in submitting the op-ed to the Washington Post. How completely ridiculous. Why the effing hell would the ACLU want Amber Heard to write a piece, an opinion piece, a fake piece, a false piece about Johnny Depp if it's not to push some political effing motive? Who is the ACLU now? Can they be trusted? What's the value of them? What's the point? If the ACLU is going to push false notions on an actor who's beloved for decades, what's the point of them existing? Now, I can't say that everybody through and through, every single person in that organization is on their side. I'm sure a lot of them, like with Warner Brothers and MGM now, with Minamata, are going along with it for their own safety. But they need to be really hit hard by people with authority, and it has to be made known that there's some effed up stuff going on. So this is a good step, though. I mean, a court of law is a good start to expose that. Okay, let's keep going. In a related legal proceeding in the UK, Ms. Heard claimed that she donated her entire $7 million divorce statement to the ACLU and non-party Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, and thus she had no financial motive to falsely claim that Mr. Depp had abused her during their marriage. But she lied about that on TV. We know about it. We know she lied. So what this case is if this does not go in Johnny's favor, it just proves corruption in the world. It's just proof that there's corruption in the world. And the very few people who are on Amber's side, I think, are blurred by emotions, or they just think she's hot. There's just no reason to be on Amber's side. And let me give you guys a little bit of advice. There's a lot of fucking hot women in the world. There's no reason, even if you happen to think Amber Heard is hot, to keep watching her and being like, oh yeah, she's hot. There's fucking millions and millions of other women out there who, by the way, are in their prime, some of them. And Amber Heard is not in her prime. Okay. Petitioner now seeks discovery from the ACLU and its employees to confirm whether Ms. Heard has in fact donated the entire $7 million settlement to charity. And you know what? If she didn't donate every single penny, then she's out. Then that's a lie. Even if she donated, $6.5 million, well, you're supposed to donate it all. Even if it was like, a fraction of the money she kept for herself, that's a lot of fucking money. Even if she kept 1/6 of it, that's still probably, years of salary for a lot of people, making like 40 grand, 45 grand a year, busting their ass, doing jobs they don't want to do, and Amber Heard just puts on some makeup and says, Johnny Depp abused me, and she gets all this money. Doesn't make sense. Court of Appeals addressed the requirements for enforcement of non-party subpoenas in Kaplan v. Koch holding. We conclude that the subpoenaing party must first sufficiently state the circumstances or reasons underlying the subpoena, either on the face of the subpoena itself or in a notice accompanying it, and the witness in moving to quash must establish either that the discovery sought is utterly irrelevant to the action or the futility of the process to uncover anything legitimate is inevitable or obvious. Should the witness meet this burden, the subpoenaing party must then establish that the discovery sought is material and necessary to the prosecution or defense of an action, i.e., that it is relevant. Petitioner has satisfied the initial burden of stating the circumstances or reasons underlying the subpoena, with the exception of one category of demanded documents. The ACLU has failed to demonstrate that the information sought is utterly irrelevant to the action. And if you watch this channel here, you know that I get into every little last detail about Amber Heard because I think it shows character. And I think there's a lot of things that are relevant. I think the way she handles herself in the public eye is actually pretty relevant. Somebody who's serious about the abuse and a lawsuit does not do crazy shit for 4 years on Instagram and Twitter and jump around and go to costume parties and get drunk and screw around in the mountains and drive around with no pants and show her nipples in Istanbul and a slew of other, crazy, college crazy things. It's all relevant. Most of it's relevant. Even the baby we have now is somewhat relevant. It shows character. Bringing a baby into the world or into this whole mess that's going on. While I would never argue my opinion should be in legal context, all I'm saying is it's not too hard to find things that are relevant in some way to the case, so I would assume the court had a pretty easy time figuring out that what was going on between, the ACLU and Amber Heard is in fact relevant. However, this court finds that the documents requested concerning Ms. Heard's role as an ambassador for the ACLU are irrelevant to petitioner's defamation case, which pertains only to the statements Ms. Heard made in her op-ed, and petitioner has failed to otherwise demonstrate why such documents are material and necessary to his prosecution. Okay, so it looks like they're not giving Johnny 100% of what he wants, but it looks like they're giving him plenty and more than enough to get the win. So, they also go on to say that they're not buying that Depp could have got it from a different source. He needs to get it from that source, obviously. I'm not sure why they would even go for that narrative, but I'm really glad to see this court is making some good decisions, so this gives me hope. Like I've said before, I'm kind of a pessimist at heart just because of what's going on in the world the last, 5 years or so. Lots of disappointments in entertainment for me, even some in politics, stuff like that. But seeing stuff like this, official court documents, we're off to the right start. But we've been off to the right start before, and then as things go on and hopes get higher and higher, they start to level out and eventually things get mind-boggling why certain decisions are being made. So I'll take away from this a little hope. It's a good thing. You guys, of course, let me know what you think down below. Doing shout-outs, special thanks, things like that. Consider subscribing here if you don't subscribe, and you've considered it, and you still don't subscribe. I guess I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.